But without further ado, I want to bring to the stage my bro, former Alabama offensive lineman, two-time national champ, Chris Owens. Welcome to the stage, my boy. How you feeling, my boy?
Good. What's good?
Man, chilling, bro. Glad to have you on as always, man. You already know what time it is when we get together. We always keep it real. My boy keep it real with me all the time. Look, man, we ain't never been on my channel together, I don't think.
Nah, I was surprised. I first saw it, I was like, oh, it's crazy, but I like it. Moving up.
Hey, we trying, man. You know, things happen. You gotta just pick up and move, man. Sometimes you gotta just keep going. You already know how that is. Give people an update of what you're doing post Bama, or tell the people who you are from, when you were at Bama, and then give us an update of what's going on with you athletically, personal, professional career, all that stuff.
So Chris Owens played at Bama for 6 years, took a COVID year. I won a couple championships on the coattails of some really good players, Smitty, Jalen, Tua, Mac, all those guys. But played in the NFL for maybe a couple months, a little cup of coffee. But recently been in like the XFL, UFL.
I seen that.
Renegades and working towards trying to be in the front office of an NFL team or something like that. That's really my ultimate goal.
Yeah.
Be a GM one day. So, doing that, still training some high school kids on the side, doing a little bit of everything, but really working towards finally, since I'm not saying I'm done with the NFL or whatever it is, but for now, I really want to make a push towards that front office side. Man,
I'm proud of what you're doing, man. That resiliency. You had to deal with a lot of adversity during your football career. Even at Alabama, the growth curve, we had a whole segment about that. Speaking of offensive line, you're the expert at this, right? Alabama's offensive line, give your take on them.
So I haven't seen too much. I do, I'm kind of upset that James is heading to TCU, even though he'll be around the corner. I could probably go pull up on him. I was a little upset with that because I would see little clips of him after practice working with their O-line coach, which seems like it's a common thing. Like he'll pull guys to the side and say, "Hey, we struggled with this today at practice. Me and you spend a couple minutes after practice working on it," which is good. We've had that at Bama, but we haven't had that in a while, so that would be really helpful. Obviously, Kaden Proctor, he'll be another addition to the O-line. I saw that the center from Washington that transferred in is adding some more weight. Getting a little bigger, which is good because when I first saw a picture of him, I was like, "Ooh, he's he's
just a little too small, just a little bit,
just a little bit." So that'll help. Is it Parker?
Parker Brailsford.
Yeah, seems like everything's coming along nicely. I did see somebody. I don't know.
Chris, if I'm not mistaken, you play guard and tackle.
Center, guard, and tackle. Yes, sir.
So, in your opinion, and what you know of Kalen DeBoer's offense and this scheme, a guy like Kaden Proctor, does he fit more in the guard position, or do you leave him at tackle?
I've always been somebody that if it's a young player, especially who has experience, let him develop at that position. So me personally, I would leave him at tackle because he's young enough to adapt to any scheme. It's not like he's played for 3, 4, or 5 years at whatever NFL team, or he spent 4 years at another school. Now he's coming in for his last year.
Right.
He's young enough to adapt to any scheme, and I feel like it's a lot easier for him to do that as opposed to moving him to another position. Kind of like we did with Evan when he was there. He went from guard to tackle to the other tackle. Like, let him sit there, let him develop. You brought him in for that reason. Can he play guard? I believe he can. I believe he can do anything. And who knows, he may be a guard at the next level. But for now, at least, I can see him as a tackle, and I can see it working.
I think because you got guys like Tyler Booker and Jaden Roberts as your starting guards right now, you kind of really want that tackle position that to me, based off of what I was able to evaluate, a young guy in Will Formby who's, Chris, turn the film on, bro. Will Formby is the next great. You look at even the time that as a true freshman, they didn't get many snaps as a true freshman last year, but you look at his growth from his senior year in high school to what he was able to display and work with as a freshman last year, being in that whole mess of a situation with the offensive line last year, and the offense just transitioning under Tommy Rees. But then to see the type of growth he's had this past spring under Coach Cap and this new offensive scheme, his athleticism is on display because he's going to have to get out in space, put a hat on somebody, and really block at second level, third level. Like, he is that dude and can do it as a redshirt freshman. And I want to ask you that. So when you saw the news about Kaden Proctor, I want you to give your perspective as a teammate, but then also as you're a little bit older now. You got a little bit better understanding or more grasp on life when it comes to this type of thing, and you didn't have to deal with NIL like these kids. So, give me your take on it as a teammate. When Kaden Proctor says, "I'm coming back to Bama after I left y'all to go to Iowa because they was tampering with me during the season and they told me they can give me more money and they gonna make me feel more comfortable. But now I'm ready to come back because I know the grass ain't green on the other side." What's your take on that?
As a teammate, in my head, I would have said, "I knew you. Why did you leave in the first place?" Like I would have said a bunch of other things that I can't say.
Yeah.
I'd be like, "What's wrong with you?" But that would have been only in my head and maybe to a few close friends. But once he gets back in, you maybe let it settle in for a couple hours, and you're like, "Okay, he's coming back. We need him. Welcome him in with open arms." Because at the end of the day, we just lost to Michigan. We just lost in the final 4 teams of the college football playoffs. So. And we're losing Coach Saban. The
Yeah.
last thing we need is to bring in somebody else and have resentment and add more turmoil to the team when we're already trying to figure out who these guys are and we're already under enough pressure trying to impress coaches that we've never probably even met before.
Right. His skill set. What does he do for this offensive line with the guys that we have kind of set in place right now?
I think you look to build on the progression he made throughout the season because obviously we know early on in the season with him being a freshman, it was going to be rough. And so throughout the season, you started to notice his technique getting a little more consistent in pass pro. You build on that. You kind of add on to him being a stronger run blocker because you had JC on that right side, and we leaned on that right side a bunch. Well, now we've got that same type of big body, so we need to utilize all his strength because I know he has it.
Yeah.
Utilize the strength, utilize the grip, the hands and the footwork. Utilize all those things to make that left side just as strong because if you have him and Tyler Booker on one side, and you figure out the other side of the O-line, you can go whichever side you want. You make your offense very balanced on both sides of the ball.
Right. You're back now. It is what it is. We see that we need you. And there's no slight to Elijah Pritchard and Quill Bertrand. You know what I'm saying? Those two guys, they're battling it out. Bertrand is doing it, to me, is the one starting to make the progression and take the lead in that battle. But you add Kaden Proctor back to that mix, man. It just does so much for what this offensive line group, the flexibility, the amount of personnel you have. You creating some quality depth, not just going to get guys. You're going to get quality guys that create quality depth. Reaction, man. We got a little reaction for you. I'm about to pull it up. I know you're a gamer. You know I'm a gamer, right?
Well, why do I feel like I know what you're about to say?
The NCAA cover?
I already pre-ordered it.
Listen. Now, I ain't got it pre-ordered, but I do see that they got the cover out.
Look at this. Just this morning, while I was waiting to get on.
Look, man. Let me go.